What is up, fam? We are back. Mack of all trades. I hate saying fam, but sometimes just...
I was gonna call you out for that.
I
start over
before. Oh, maybe we should.
Yeah, replay that. Replay the intro.
I was about to click it, and then I didn't know if I'd be able to X out of it. So, we digress. I'm joined again by Michael Duncan, Mack of all trades, a variety show on the Undroppables YouTube channel, our network. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our YouTube channel if you're there, our Twitter page, and our timeline if you are there. I think this is also going on Facebook, so hello to all of you olds watching this on Facebook right now. Just kidding. Please don't leave. We are going to talk about the NBA trade deadline today because I am newly obsessed with the NBA for some reason. I guess
it's because of Top Shot.
Yeah, it's because of Top Shot. And then playing NBA 2K, which we talked about with Justin last week. We're also going to talk about a few dynasty trades, as that is going to be a landmark for the show, and then dive into some movies that Michael and I have been watching, highlighting our Unreel movie series on our website. Again, theundroppables.com. Follow us at the Undroppables. Michael, how have you been, man? It's been a couple of weeks since you've been on.
I've been good. My day started off a little rough. My dog woke me up around 3 a.m. because she shit everywhere. She had diarrhea.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was great. So I wake up, I get out of bed at 3 a.m. She's whining. I'm like, oh, good Lord, what am I getting myself into? I walk downstairs, Yeah, so it was a long night, but I'm here. I'm feeling much better.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. So I'm good, though.
For those unaware, you are diving right into the NBA trade deadline. I cannot say trade deadline, apparently.
Trade deadline.
You are an Eagles fan. You are a Philly fan. And you're also a Sixers fan, right? I see your Sixers jersey on there. Are you pretty much are you completely dove into, you've always been a big NBA fan because of the Sixers and like way more than me, and which is why I brought you on to be this NBA expert, or are you just as knowledgeable as me because of Top Shot?
So I wasn't always a big NBA fan. I wasn't really even always a big Sixers fan, to be honest. I didn't watch a ton of basketball until probably like middle school, high school when I started playing. That's untrue, Justin. But then around the time that I grew up, I loved AI and all that kind of stuff, but I just, I didn't follow basketball that much. Around the time that the Sixers started the process is when I really started to get into it. My main feeling being that, there's nowhere to go but up, quite literally.
Yeah.
So I got a lot more into it then. Football's always been my first love, my favorite sport, but
there you go.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, I've always been a bigger Sixers fan than I am an NBA fan. I know a little bit about the NBA, but I would nowhere near call myself an expert, to be clear. So
fair enough. So we are Top Shot early adopters that slowly, delved into more NBA. I know more NBA names now than I probably ever did, unless we go all the way back to NBA Live 2005, which is crazy. So we do want to just touch on some random trades. I basically put Woj's tweets on
Woj.
Push notifications.
Yep.
So obviously following this one, because it's interesting to see what teams are making pushes to kind of restructure their team. They're all that's what's crazy that I actually like about NBA, obviously in the wake of not having a ton of football stuff going on, is just the fact that you can see these NBA teams with smaller rosters playing this like they'd be playing dynasty basketball or dynasty fantasy football. Like you make trades to win now, or you make trades to completely tank. And so definitely a lot that I missed within this feed today. But I think the first one to talk about, because of trusting the process, is the Orlando Magic, which traded all of their good players today. Anyone with an ounce of talent. Yeah, Markel Fultz
has an ounce of
still on the roster. He is young. He's got some talent.
At least one ounce.
Didn't he completely ruin his shot at one point, and he was still trying to fix that? Or maybe I'm thinking of
no,
someone
that's
else.
him.
Okay, yeah. So I've definitely heard that before.
That's probably the understatement of the century. He had, and it's like thoracic. I don't even know the name anymore. But basically, he had this really weird thing in his shoulder, and it gave him it was a hitch in his shot. It was an absolute mess. Former first overall pick of the Sixers. He was supposed to complete the process. Spoiler alert: he did not. We traded him to Orlando, and he's been better. His shot is still not what it was in college, but overall, I he's a good player. Overall, it's just that he was supposed to be a really good shooter, and that didn't happen.
Nah, well, that's why the Sixers got rid of him. Now the Magic are holding on to him as a younger piece, but they traded their all-star away, and I apologize in advance if I butcher the name, but Nikola Vucevic. Okay, Vucevic. Vucevic is on the Bulls now, right? And the Bulls got a couple different assets today, if I recall correctly. I was pretty surprised. Like, they're making a bit of a run now, right? Like, I mean, they must have some intent around that.
I was surprised because there was a lot of talk earlier, even a couple weeks ago, that what's his face was going to be on the move, and I hate that I'm forgetting his name, but like the star.
It's really helpful for our listeners. Right
now. Jesus. But no, not
from the Bulls, like Levine or someone.
Levine, thank you, Zach Levine.
I've bested you once already on this stream. I can't believe it.
I stuck with names when I could not think of the name of Yondu. But true. No, there was a lot of talk that that Zach Levine was going to be on the move, which basically kind of said the exact opposite of what they did today, which was acquire pieces, because I don't really see them in a place that's able to really compete for a championship right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It was a little surprising. I guess they really believe in it, or they're obviously they're setting pieces for thinking past this season, but that kind of shocked me considering where they're at right now, and they're not a great team. I mean, it's not normally the type of team you see make that type of deal, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Vucevic is, in my mind, because I have only followed the league for the last couple months, literally. Like, I didn't realize Vucevic as an all-star is 30 years old. So, I mean, you could play basketball a lot longer than you can play football, but in 30 is like stone dust is Stone Age in terms of football terms. So, I mean, they'll have him for a while, but it's interesting how much they then traded away. Like, if they can, I mean, they must assume he's going to be there for 2 to 4 years if he's 30 years old. It was they're sending Wendell Carter Jr. and 2 first-round picks to the Magic.
Yep. Which, I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think 2 first-round picks is a lot, but you just see picks fly around so often. I mean, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder now have 34 picks in the next like 7 years or something insane like that. You just see them flying all over the place. A lot more than you do in the NFL, really, because the draft is such a crapshoot. A lot of times people will happily rather take the known asset, and 30's old, but it's nothing crazy, in all honesty. I mean, Kyle Lowry, who was going to go for a lot more than that if he did get traded, I think he's 35. He's 34 or 35.
Yeah.
So
I'm reading through
there would be a few more years.
I'm reading through the tweets if you can tell my 1,000-yard stare here.
Oh, yeah.
They also received Al-Farouq Aminu, but they sent Otto Porter Jr., so some other, pieces. Then the Magic send a guard, Evan Fournier, who I believe I read is like playing at the top of his ability right now in terms of three-point percentage. Good. Sent him to the Boston Celtics for 2 second-round picks.
That...
You hate it for the Sixers, is what I think.
I mean, I'm not really scared of the Celtics, honestly. I mean,
tell that to
like
Jack
the 9th seed, the 8th seed. Like, come on. We don't even need Joel Embiid to beat them.
Oh, Kyle Larson, our fellow Undroppable, he's saying that they got Daniel T. Tease.
Wait, who?
Tice.
Jesus. The Celtics traded him to who?
I think he was saying they're going. I need to keep scrolling through the stuff.
Daniel Tice was on the Celtics. He got traded.
I thought is he saying?
They sent Daniel Tice to the Bulls. No, the Bulls. The Celtics got Mo Wagner, and they traded away Daniel Tice.
We're getting
Sixers are poop.
Pretty
you know
deep
what?
for me.
We're the 1 seed. Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like it might be a little better to try and like focus in on like the top moves. And the crazy thing is almost the things that didn't happen. Oladipo actually happened. I mean, he was one of the biggest names. I think it was mainly him and Kyle Lowry.
Oladipo's good, right?
He is good. He's been injured here and there, but he's a talented player. He got traded after 3:00, which was really funny because the NBA has like this very specific rule that makes it the total opposite of whatever happened in the NFL a couple years at the trade deadline, where like they forgot to, like the Browns like forgot to call in that they were trading for like AJ McCarron or something.
They didn't get him,
which was hysterical. But apparently in the NBA, if you're on the call talking about it, you can finalize a deal after 3:00 or something like that. But
damn.
So Oladipo got sent down to Miami. And Miami was one of, I think, 3 teams that was kind of the headliners looking for Kyle Lowry. It was the Sixers
after it too, because they got Oladipo.
Yep.
You were hoping that the Sixers got Oladipo. You were gonna say
no. I mean, sure, maybe, but
okay. You sound like you got a lot of conviction on this.
It's would I take a really good player? Yes, but at the end of the day, like it kind of comes down to what the cost was. Like I ended up being out on Lowry, judging by what they wanted for him, supposedly. I mean, they wanted Matisse Thybulle, whose jersey I'm repping right now, number 22. They wanted Matisse Thybulle, Tyrese Maxey, and like 2 first-round picks. So Tyrese Maxey's a rookie guard that we drafted at 18 overall, 21 overall. It was just a lot. It was way too much because it also would have taken that's untrue. It also would have taken Danny Green, who to salary match, he's our starting 3 right now. And I think for Oladipo, it probably would have been something really similar. Sure. And that's like I get it because you want to get the star because you want to go, you want to win a championship if you can. But the pieces that you're giving away, I don't think Oladipo and Kyle Lowry are not James Harden. They're not one single player that can make up for all these other deficiencies. Kyle Lowry would be a great piece, but by giving up Danny Green and Matisse Thybulle, you lose a lot of wing defense and a lot of other stuff. So that's kind of where I was at with Oladipo and Kyle Lowry in general, which is kind of why I was okay if Miami got either of them, because I'm not really scared of them either.
Well, you know what? I didn't realize that was my friend Kyle. What's up, man? I will say something. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but the Heat definitely making a run. Not only did they trade for Victor Oladipo, but they also look to be the favorites to sign LaMarcus Aldridge, who had some weird buyout thing from the Spurs. So however that works out, Aldridge will be going to the Heat. I think that's interesting. And then I more or less officially jumped on the Nuggets bandwagon. So shout out Brian O'Connell, a fellow Undroppable who is a Nuggets fan. It got to root for the potential MVP, Nikola Jokic.
Don't talk to me about Nikola Jokic. Fat. I hate him.
Well, he is a lovable goofball. That is for sure.
He's not. He's a hateable goofball, and I hate him.
I mean, maybe he gets too much credit for being athlete funny or something like that. But there's some other guys I like on that team. They traded for Aaron Gordon.
There it is. And
they traded for who's the other guy? I just saw this. Oh, JaVale McGee, another lovable goofball. So and he was one of the investors in Top Shot. So I like to see that. It'll be interesting to see those guys in the rotation. Probably sucks for our boy Bull in terms of getting in reps, but he's probably constantly hurt. So
no.
Of course, we're gonna have some debate over that. Well, maybe we'll save that for another time. I don't know nearly enough to talk about that debate, so
Jokic is incredible. I will just say that Jokic is an incredible player, but so is Embiid. And if Jokic is a little bit better on offense, Joel Embiid, it's not even close on defense. Joel Embiid could be a defensive player of the year candidate. Jokic is basically a turnstile. That's where I'm leaving it.
Well, that's fair enough. Anything else on the trade deadline that you would like to talk about? I almost mispronounced that for a third fucking time. So,
I was surprised. There wasn't as much movement as I kind of hoped there was going to be. I think I was really hoping for a Kyle Lowry trade because I like him as a player. And I was hoping that he could go somewhere to compete. But the Lakers didn't do anything, which kind of surprised me. I already talked about how the Bulls kind of shocked me a little bit. Also, JJ Reddick to, I believe it was Dallas. That just really confused me. Yeah, like I like JJ Reddick. He was going to be a buyout candidate. The thing that confused me was just why Dallas? Like, why did they trade for him? To me, it was just another case of like, are you really? What is he doing for you this year? He's a good shooter, but I don't know why that's worth it for him.
Yeah, so. That's interesting because my amateur knowledge is going to show here. But was Reddick on the Pelicans?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Lonzo, that was the other name.
Yeah, that was the guy I heard was just rumored from watching another stream about Top Shot was that Lonzo might go to the Nuggets, and then that didn't happen. So maybe Aaron Gordon was kind of like their sub replacement, but I don't know. It's interesting. New players are always interesting.
Aaron Gordon was probably, I think the cost was definitely different. Obviously, they play different roles. I think Lonzo, due to the fact that he was going to cost money, or not, he wasn't going to cost money. He was going to cost more in a trade and picks, in players, because he is a good player. He's ascending. He's young. He's only 23. But I think also the fact that you'd have to give up a lot of assets for him, and also he is on an expiring deal, makes it tougher. Like the Sixers, again, he was
like a rental.
Exactly. So you kind of, and he's going to get paid next year. Like I think he's a restricted free agent technically, although free agency in the NBA is beyond what I care.
Yeah,
because you get into bird rights and all this crap, and like I learned about it and then I forgot it within 10 minutes. But yeah, he was someone that I think there was always more noise than there was like reliable info about him getting moved. Just because of what he was going to cost and all the stipulations surrounding him. So,
wait, let's talk about this quick because I saw he's trending right now.
Bol?
No, not Bol.
He was trending earlier.
Okay, I guess I need to do the research on this buyout stuff because I don't think it's worth explaining right now, to be honest. But now this Andre Drummond obviously didn't get dealt in a trade.
Yep.
So he'll get bought out, and then some team is going to be looking for him. Kevin O'Connor, it's the top tweet. Looks like the Knicks would be the potential destination for Drummond. So that'd be interesting for their competitive prospects. I think that's, unless you got any last word here, Dunks, because you are I would say watch more Sixers than I do NBA even.
I'll just say
that you want to talk about there.
I'll just say trust the process, and Adam Silver hates the Sixers. That's it. That's all I will say. We can move on now before anyone has any other comments regarding that.
All good with me. Let's do what we do each and every episode now. If we can, let's talk fantasy football dynasty trades, because we are in dynasty season. We're going to be talking about these trades and the implications long-term. Obviously, we are learning more and more throughout free agency. Pretty much everything's wrapped up. Almost every player's been dealt. Obviously, trades could happen in the real world in NFL, but things seem to be mostly status quo right now. So if you tried to bank on, AJ Dillon's upside like I did, and then it didn't fall through, like that could leave you in a tough spot. But now we're in a better place where the playing field is fairly level instead of trying to make a bet on something. So
the only thing that's going to screw us over now is the entire draft.
Yeah, the draft will bring in new talent and could certainly replace some of the bottom of your bench, depending on where these rookie running backs and especially the receivers land. Then again, maybe some of these receivers don't get enough reps because of how good the 2020 class was. That's something that I've been kind of a take I've been squatting on. But you had a trade that you wanted to talk about, so let's just dive in. Give me what you got.
So I'm going to set the scene. This is a rebuilding team, an orphan that I took over in a league with. I actually think this is Dan's league at AWL Sabermetrics. I think Term is in it, Jax, a couple other undroppables, I think. But so this team was garbage. It was really bad. Like Really, really horrible. Super
I think
flex.
Dan has commented on this team before.
It's bad. So I took it over because I was like, you know what, fuck it. What else am I gonna do with my time? So I basically I've been trying to just trade away assets to get future assets, future picks, whatever. So I traded away Darnell Mooney, a guy that I really like. I didn't love trading him away, but I traded him away for a second round pick in this year's rookie draft. I think it's like the 208. My thought is basically just that, Darnell Mooney could be worth more than that, but you've got Andy Dalton in Chicago, Allen Robinson still there. The chances that Darnell Mooney gains a lot of value this year, probably not that high. And the chance that I could get a good player at the 208 in a super flex, I mean.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing you bring up. I should have checked and told you, like, well, you know what? We almost basically talked about this exact trade last week, which is no offense to you and your idea, but us just kind of hammering home the fact that this is apparently an anti-Darnell Mooney show now. Because I offered up, I took a trade where I traded Darnell Mooney for, I believe, the 211.
Oh, wow. So really close.
And I got Andy Isabella, but that wasn't the needle mover for me. It was just getting another second round pick.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And I think I feel like when I made this trade, dude offered it to me. I think I was actually thinking about the trade that you would send. I think we talked about it in the Undroppables chat too. And I was thinking about it.
Split.
Yeah. I think I said to take the second round pick. So.
Yes, I would take the second round pick, even if it was like the 212 or something. So
exactly.
Did you have another you wanted to talk about? I think we like this class enough to say, let's give me the pick. I'm already on rookie fever. Darnell Mooney into the ocean. But a trade too. Are you formulating something? Is the same league like Dan's happy team?
Yeah, so this is same team. This one I've been going back and forth with the dude. I don't know who he is, but he's not one of the undroppables. So initially he sent me the offer of Adam Troutman and I think a third or a fourth round rookie pick for Brian Edwards and Denzel Mims. And I was like, okay, I like Adam Troutman, but that's probably not enough for 2 second-year wide receivers that should probably only gain value in the next year. So I'm like, okay. So I counter. I say, okay, a first-round pick in Adam Troutman for Denzel Mims and Brian Edwards. So, okay. I figure I'm not going to be upset if I get that because I can get a first-round pick, and I really like Adam Troutman. He says no, and he sends back Adam Troutman for Brian Edwards just straight up. At which point I already have Dallas Goedert and I have Noah Fant. So I'm like, okay, I don't really need Adam Troutman that much. So I sent back like Noah Fant and Brian Edwards for Adam Troutman and 2022 first and a 2023 first. So I want to know where your head is at with all of that information, because that was a little all over the place.
So that trade that you currently mentioned with the first and the third, or no, 2 2022 firsts, a 2023 first?
No, one 2022, 2023, and then Adam Troutman for Noah Fant and Brian Edwards.
Where's this team at again? Like, is this
very
the first
bad.
question's always like,
very
is this a rebuild or is this a
multi-year rebuild? It's my starting quarterback is Nick Mullins.
Oh my God.
My starting running backs are James Conner and Phillip Lindsay, though. So one of them has
those
a
guys
team.
Is younger than the other, at least.
Yep.
Is Conner hasn't been signed yet? Him and Gurley. Wow.
It's very bad.
So my thought is, I think tight ends are really interesting in Dynasty, and I forgot already if we talked about this on a previous episode, but you have to time the breakout, which is why I don't really think Kyle Pitts is worth a first round rookie pick. I would rather trade for him when he doesn't perform as we expect to in his rookie year. And that's just because it takes a few years for tight ends to develop. Like any DGen that's watching this stream or if just randomly tuning into this YouTube video knows this. So I would rather trade for the guy after they disappoint in their rookie year as a buy low, or try to get them the season before they're breaking out. And I don't know if that's going to happen for Adam Troutman this year, just because he's the de facto number one on the team right now, the tight end room. So
he's the only one.
I mean, just because he's the number one on the depth chart doesn't indicate to me that he is automatically going to do whatever Jared Cook did 2 years ago. Yeah. Which would be, a pretty decent second half of the season. He had like a touchdown in 6 games straight. It's going to be kind of at the mercy of whatever Sean Payton does with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, which could be a lot more heavy on the targeting the receivers than targeting an Adam Troutman. Like, we didn't see much from him in his rookie year. So I wouldn't want to give up too much. I like that middle trade. I think that is a fair deal. And because you're getting a first and Adam Troutman for Brian Edwards, you said?
I think it was Brian Edwards and Denzel Mims was what I sent back. And then he denied it and started going in a different route. And if he really wants 2 higher upside, like guys that didn't break out in their first year, like you have all the upside, I feel, for year 2. Like, yeah, exactly. More likely than an Adam Troutman, because you're going to have to sit on Adam Troutman. So I like getting a first in return. Like, I wouldn't deal those receivers unless I'm getting at least 1 first back. So I like that deal. I don't know which side would be like the winning side. I probably rather have I think it helps him because I don't need wide receivers that are going to take a step up next year. I'm not going to be competing next year. Kyle
makes a good point. Taysom Hill is wonderful. In effect, could be their tight end 1. So as long as he's eligible. Kyle.
I will say this: I love Adam Troutman. He was my tight end 1 last year. I'm all in on him in general. Like,
rookie, if it's tight end 1.
Yes, rookie tight end 1. Sorry, yeah, I'm not an insane person. So I do buy into him. I also I would rather have something that might not break out this year and break out the next year, because maybe I'm able to compete 2 years from now. And if I'm able to get some firsts for these wide receivers that I don't know what they're, Denzel Mims, who's going to be the quarterback, who knows? They signed Corey Davis. So I like Denzel Mims. I was a big fan of his going into the draft, but.
So that trade with the firsts, you'd be getting the pick, like just 3 or 2 picks in Adam Troutman.
Yeah, and I'd be giving up Noah Fant and Brian Edwards. So he took Mims out of it.
I kind of like that, because you take Mims out, but then you can still trade Fant. If he's bullish on Fant, like if he believes Fant is going to break out, and yeah, I do think the long-term value is what you factor in with these receivers. But if he believes that Fant is going to break out, he's probably worth 2 firsts on his own, especially if he's trying to win now. And maybe you wait until week 1 or 2. If this deal doesn't get done, I think that you could potentially get more for Noah Fant.
Yeah,
because he has yet to do the full-on breakout, but we're really expecting it. So he has a really good week 1 or week 2. Sell him at the top and get three picks, 2 firsts and a second. And if you got to throw in Brian Edwards, go for it. But you want to get as many assets as possible. And so going for Adam Troutman is a good part of that. But I do like that idea of getting the picks and just flipping your tight end now. Or, try that same deal, but put Dallas Goedert in there and see how he reacts, because he might be a lot more high on Goedert, and then you can hold on to Fant longer, because Fant's pretty young as far as I can remember, especially compared to Goedert. Goddard, we've been hoping and praying for Dallas Goedert to break out year in and year out. I've said this a billion times, and I apologize, for your Eagles fandom or what have you. But if you want to, he's what? So Goddard's 3 years older than him. If you would want to hold Fant in the rebuild until he peaks, and hopefully your team is good enough for him to be a contributing part of that team, I would rather sell Goedert and Edwards for those picks. And he might actually do it if he thinks Goedert is more likely to break out in this season than Fant. And I know maybe your homerism is factoring into that offer, but
I put Fant out there because I thought he would be more likely to give up 2 firsts for Fant. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to do the trade to get Adam Troutman. I like Adam Troutman, but I need picks. I need things that are really going to gain value and have a lot of value. And I think those picks in this trade are the most valuable thing for me. And I figure Noah Fant, if I can get Adam Troutman back for Noah Fant, great. Because in 2 years, I think Adam Troutman may be at the similar level that Noah Fant's at right now. So that's fine. The picks are kind of the main thing for me. And I think the picks are more likely to come if I send Noah Fant. Because he's not that strong at tight end in general. And Brian Edwards seemed to be the one he was more interested in. So
my intuition tells me he'd rather have Goddard than Fant, or that would be better for you just in terms of getting a bunch of guys that are all the same age range. Because what happens 3 years down the road, if you're competing at that point, Dallas Goedert's 29, 30 years old at that point, and now you're like, shit, I don't have Noah Fant. I mean, I guess I've got Adam Troutman. He may or may not pan out, and Goddard's on his way, the way of Zach Ertz potentially. So that's maybe a worst case scenario, but that's why I would like keeping Fant instead of Goddard in that case. But maybe even, I don't know. I just feel like Goddard is the one that the consensus is like, okay, this is the year. This is the year. We don't know what's going to happen with Fant, but Goddard, like, stone cold lock. And you could sell Goddard instead of Fant, but then ask for another pick. Like, give him that option. So then you're basically putting the valuation in front of him, where you have the trade you have with Fant, but then do Brian Edwards and Dallas Goedert for Adam Troutman, those 2 picks, the 2 firsts, like you said, and a future second or something like that. And then you can, because if you value Goddard and Fant around the same, but you want to kind of show him 2 different types of offers, and then you find out what his valuation is of those 2 different tight ends. And
I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I am highballing him a little bit because I don't know the people in this league really well. I do want to kind of see who he's interested in, why he's doing this trade, which is why I threw in like the Adam Troutman in the first for the 2 wide receivers at the beginning, because I was like, okay, this is going to tell me, one, how serious he is, but also who he's looking for. So even if he denies this, like if he rejects this and sends a counter, it just means I'm learning more information about, what he's looking for and how I can use that to my advantage in the future trade talks, which is part of the again, I don't necessarily think I'm going to get rid of all these guys that I can just stockpile all the picks right now, but I'm at least learning something in this case. Yeah. And I think if you're getting antsy and want him to make a decision, I think the biggest thing is just trying to DM the guy or get his attention and see if you can find out what he thinks about those players. So, best of luck to you. I think that is a good case study in tight end valuation and trying to time their breakout, really. So hopefully some productive stuff for y'all watching back home. Let us move on to the next topic. And this is the fun stuff. This is going to be non-fantasy, non-NBA for you fantasy folks out there that are so focused on football. But I think everyone loves movies, and we love movies, so we're going to be talking about those. This is replacing our monthly article called Unreal Movies on the Undroppables.com. I might pull one of those up just to show you what those articles look like. But before we dive into each of our own movies that we've been watching or recommendations, let's talk about the 4-hour elephant in the room, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Did you hear it got re-released today in black and white?
Oh, really? They did the black and white cut? Because they had like
put out another cut in black and white.
Wow.
So I think I have to watch it again now in black and white.
So how big of a DC fan are you compared to Marvel? Because obviously MCU made billions of dollars, 23 movies. DC expanded universe is what they're calling it now. Yeah. Are you more in on that? Because I've heard you've been talking about the show Gotham lately. You love that.
I grew up. Spider-Man he's my favorite. I grew up a much bigger Marvel fan just because those are the ones that I saw more as a kid. Those are the ones I interacted with more. The Spider-Man movies growing up with Tobey Maguire were awesome, and so I've always been a bit more of a Marvel fan. But it's not like I have anything against DC. It's just Marvel has had more consistent, really good content. But I'm really into it. the Arrowverse is what it's called. The all the TV shows on the CW, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl. It's a big interconnected universe, just like the MCU, except it's all television shows, and that's been going on for the past 8 years. I've watched a ton of them. I love those characters. The Flash is one of my favorite DC characters. So I don't know as much about the history of DC and like all the little Easter eggs and comic booky stuff about DC as I do Marvel, but I'm still, I love superheroes at the end of the day. And if it's a good movie, if it's a good show, if they're good and well-written characters, then I'm probably going to be all in on them. So, because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I've been a big fan of Batman since those Arkham games came out, like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And, I played Arkham City. I still haven't gone through Arkham Knight really, so need to get to that. Hey Vivek, we are gonna. I don't have it scheduled, but we'll jump into Clubhouse for a little bit after this, for as long as I can. As if the people want it, I will give it to them. So I know you're more of a fan of Marvel, but obviously we're both big, sounds like, superhero nerds. What kind of score out of like 100 did you give this movie? And not to put you on like the spot, but it sounds like you liked it even more than me. I think I will say, like, first and foremost, yes, it's super fucking long, but it's way better than the original. If you saw the 2017 version, even within the last year, like my girlfriend and I, we watched the original for the first time in quarantine, like during this past year. And we watched the new one just last weekend, thought it was way better. Pretty much almost a totally different movie.
It truly was. And I don't know if you ever saw Batman vs Superman and the Ultimate Edition. But so like the Ultimate Edition is literally, it was the Snyder Cut before the Snyder Cut. It's, for those that don't know, it adds about an hour of content. Basically, it's around 3 hours long, as opposed to the in theater version. Like the theatrical cut is maybe like a little over 2 hours. Yeah. And all they basically did was just add stuff in to make Superman a better character. Like it just, the whole process is just so confusing because I don't understand why they take these things out when it just makes it a better movie. So all in all, like, Zack Snyder Justice League was just a better movie. I'm not good with grades. Maybe like 70. I don't know. That's not even bad. I enjoyed it.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
Some people might not want to watch a 70 out of 100. They might want to only watch like top tier cinema, but I think that's still respectable.
I love what they did with the characters. Like my favorite part of movies, and especially comic book movies and comic book shows and everything, is the characters. Like that's why I watch these movies. That's what makes me fall in love with them, is I feel connected to them. And Superman in the Zack Snyderverse and the DCU has always been just kind of shorts. Like he's always drawn the short stick. Like he had like 5 lines in Batman vs Superman. Like it's stupid. He did nothing. It was so ridiculously dumb. And then you watch the Ultimate Edition, he's like, oh shit, he's a character. Wow, he has a personality. And it was that times 10 for the Zack Snyder Justice League. We got to see so much Cyborg, which was awesome.
Yes, that's why he's Flash on the YouTube, the thumbnail. Yep. I thought the Cyborg story, which is so much better done, and I really had to tune in to watch that because I knew, without diving too much into it, there was a lot of drama around Joss Whedon coming in for Zack Snyder. I mean, obviously, Snyder had a family tragedy, which is awful to talk about, which is why the Snyder Cut didn't originally come out. Joss Whedon comes in, he did the Avengers, but he comes in to do Justice League, and he's like butting heads with Sam Fisher, I believe is the actor's name.
Ray Fisher.
Fisher. My apologies.
Yeah, Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher sounds right. So Ray Fisher is butting heads with Joss Whedon, and basically him and the other characters in Cyborg's family get almost completely cut from the movie. Yeah. And I think it was really unfortunate for him as an actor, and obviously representation of a black character, kind of get blackballed, for lack of a better term, in that sense. And so I'm glad that he, went out of his way to bring that to light. And his character is way better in Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more exposition from his father. Of course, much to the chagrin of my alma mater, like Wisconsin loses a football game because of Cyborg pre him being Cyborg. He has the game-winning play at the last fucking second against Gotham City U versus Wisconsin. It was fucking terrible. Of course, they let me down again.
Didn't expect that kind of letdown in a DC movie.
No, that was the biggest takeaway for me. It's like somehow Wisconsin football gets in, and I think I learned from that Zack Snyder is actually from like Green Bay, Wisconsin, or something like that. Which is crazy.
I believe you're right. Yeah,
I'm from Green Bay. I didn't even know this. Like, I never heard this story or knew that. So that's pretty cool. Growing up, like, I knew of Cyborg from the Teen Titans Cartoon Network.
Awesome show.
So always loved him and that voice actor, like, representing Cyborg. What was funny though is I said to my girlfriend, like, okay, I'm waiting for the part where he says "booyah" in this movie, but he only said it in the shitty Joss Whedon version, and I think for good reason. Zack Snyder probably took that out.
Yeah, Joss Whedon
like, you can't say "booyah" in the dark version of the Justice League. So I mean,
I respected seeing the "booyah" because I'm like, I live for that kind of crap.
Like, it was the Leo meme. Great. It was the Leo meme. Like, there it is. Oh, he said it.
Yep.
He said it.
But yeah, it like Josh just added so much crap, and it really felt like 90% of the original theatrical cut was just Joss Whedon's extra crap. I mean, there was so much stuff, like when Flash falls into Wonder Woman's breast, like Gal Gadot was not the actress as Wonder Woman. She refused to film that scene.
That happened in the Justice League or in the Joss cut, and not
in the Joss cut, not in the Schneider. Joss added that because Schneider, he's never seen the theatrical version, and he did not use anything that Joss shot. But Gal Gadot refused to film it.
I don't know if that's even worth looking up to find. I don't want to spend too much time on just comparing the cuts. I would just say like the Snyder cut is way better. I didn't like hate the epilogue, but I know some people did hate it because it just shoehorned Jared Leto Joker in there. That was part of the trailer.
I have a very unpopular opinion about Jared Leto Joker.
We'll talk in Clubhouse about that. That's
okay.
So anyone that's still watching, I know. Okay, I would just touch on this really briefly, like, since we're big Marvel fans. Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2 is coming out tomorrow on Disney Plus. I really like the pilot. I'm thinking back through it. I'm like, I guess not a ton happened, but excited to see more action in this next episode. I thought they kind of built the characters and their current conflicts out really well in this first episode. So I like that. Of course, we won't go through it all, but off the top of my head, there's some announcements this week for Marvel movies. Black Widow finally coming to Disney Plus and theaters simultaneously. I can't wait to pay $30 for that and watch it. We've been waiting basically over a year for this movie to drop. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be like after Loki has already premiered on.
It'll be the same date as episode 5 of Loki.
Oh, nice. You are on top of it. And I think other than that, in terms of movies, I saw like The Legend of Shang-Chi and the Seven Rings or something of that title is going to be coming out in September.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, except I know I pronounced Shang-Chi wrong. It's pronounced...
Well, Shai is Chicago, but isn't it? So is it Shang-Chi or is it not?
No, it's like Shai-Chi. Like, I will never do it justice because I am not good. But it's not an English, you can't really say it, really.
So that's September, and then we still have the next Spider-Man is planned for Christmas. Actually, release trailer of Christmas this year. So I'm
December 17th, actually.
Oh, even better, a week ahead.
They always just say holidays. And The Eternals is November.
I thought that got delayed to 2022, actually.
Nope.
So I'm gonna fact check you on that later. I swore that got delayed, but that's not. That's just stuff to look out for. Not stuff that we're gonna, hard dive into right now. Again, because of my laziness, I have not written this month's Unreel movies post on our fantasy football website, but we are trying to do more lifestyle content. I'll just share our screen of some of the awesome design work that Fantasy Dukes does for us, and some of the previous articles that we have. going back to February, which feels like forever ago. But you can search Unreel. I hope you guys like that pun, or movies in our search tab up top. We also have this under the content. I believe the content tab. Of course, when I click on this, it's going to go away.
Lifestyle, nope. I think.
Yeah, like I thought the content tab, there it goes. Content, drop down to lifestyle. You'll find those articles there as well, as long as some awesome cooking stuff from the chef, BZB. In any case, Unreal movies. We mentioned a couple in our show notes, Michael, that were actually listed on some of our these posts. So yes. I mentioned Judas and the Black Messiah right off the top, a great front runner for the Oscars. If you're looking for an Oscar-worthy movie, tells a really compelling story about Fred Hampton and the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers, what went down there in terms of his assassination. And have you seen this one yet, Michael?
I haven't. I'm very behind on new movies if they're not comic book, to be honest.
So this one is it on HBO Max. I believe it's still streaming. At least I hope. It might only have been streaming through the end of February because of when it was released.
Yeah, they have all this weird.
They're doing some weird stuff with that. So like you can watch it when it premieres and for a few weeks after. But if you can catch it at some point, I would recommend renting it. It's good, powerful, like based on a true story type of.
And he's from.
He is from Black Panther. The movie Black Panther, the comic book hero. So that's Daniel Kaluuya. He's from Get Out as well.
Get Out. That's what I was. Get Out is what I was thinking of. But yeah, Black Panther.
Probably mispronounced his name. Lakeith Stanfield also in this movie, who is also in Get Out, amongst some other pretty interesting movies. I think Sorry to Bother You. So I definitely recommend this one. And then I wanted to jump over to a different tab because I have you recommended an interesting, a movie with Jesse Eisenberg, who plays Lex Luthor, but also obviously played a very familiar figure, also a movie based on a true story. I'll let you say the rest.
So this is a movie that I've it's been on like my Netflix, like my list or whatever for like years. And I just never really got around to watching it. But so The Social Network, the one about Mark Zuckerberg, Jesse Eisenberg plays Mark Zuckerberg, and Andrew Garfield plays his friend. I don't remember his name. Really interesting movie though. Like I kind of just threw it on because I was bored one night and I was, it was sitting on my list and I was like, I should watch this. Jesse Eisenberg. Oh, I didn't realize this was also in.
That's almost why I thought you picked it because it highlights back to our November 2020.
These are just the ones that I can remember I've watched recently. But yeah, really just a good movie. Jesse Eisenberg knows how to play one character and he's really good at it. And it's that character basically. But yeah, just, really good. If you somehow missed it, like I did, watch it. It's on Netflix.
I can't believe that you said, well, I was bored one night, so I decided to watch this. Like I will admit that it took me a few years before I watched this. Like I now watched it a few years ago, but I would be ready to rewatch this in pretty much a heartbeat. Or I've always rewatched some of the big clips of like them actually, or him making Facebook, like the first source code and the music behind it. The music's from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They did the soundtrack for Watchmen on HBO.
Oh shoot!
So I love their music, and yeah, Jesse Eisenberg plays a great character, and Mark Zuckerberg in this movie. Justin Timberlake plays the CEO of Napster, which is a big part of this early days of Facebook. They could almost make a Social Network 2 with the lifespan of Facebook at this point, because this is pretty much the early days, all the way up until the lawsuits, and it's really well done, really well written.
Yeah, it's on like a flashback type of like they're sitting talking about the lawsuit and they're flashing back to how it all happened.
And I highlight in here like there are two movies that come to mind. I believe that Quentin Tarantino has said the best movie of the past decade. Tarantino said it's The Social Network. I think the other one he puts up there is like might be Mad Max Fury Road, and maybe a couple others. But the number one, he has said The Social Network. So obviously, I respect Quentin Tarantino's opinion on that.
He's pretty good at what he does.
And so I would say definitely check out The Social Network if you haven't, or watch it again. Look up clips online and check out our articles. These are evergreen, despite me putting a month on them. You can scroll through this, read a little quick synopsis, and just watch the trailer right within in our site. I recommended Uncut Gems. Jojo Rabbit.
That was a
There's some
stressful
newer
movie.
Uncut Gems is a very anxiety-inducing
Stressful movie, man.
That is for sure.
And it's all about Elton Brand and the 76ers.
Yeah, all about Elton Brand.
That's
Actually,
what the whole movie's about.
No, you know what? Fuck you.
I know.
I actually, the only time I ever got into NBA was because of Kevin Garnett. He was my favorite player when I was a little kid. When he was on the Timberwolves, fair enough. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I could really bandwagon to the Celtics at that point.
That's fair.
But maybe I should have. I started learning more about the Celtics. I will say that at that time.
Haven't watched it. Heard it is really good. A lot of my friends are really
Jojo Rabbit. I don't say this often, but to quote the old, there's an old cinema saying, it's I laughed, I cried, blah, 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 blah. However that phrase goes. So any other recommendations, or should we move into the trivia that we had planned for
I got one more recommendation because I want to get roasted for it, and I don't care. I love rom-coms. I'm a big fan of them. I could watch them all day. I watched the third, To All the Boys that I loved or whatever, Always and Forever. It's a great finisher. Much better than the second one. The first one was still the best. Second one was fine. Third one was a good finisher.
That's what I heard from people that are, review movies for their job, and for people. My girlfriend watched them too. I think she said the middle one was ass, but
it was pretty bad.
Were good. So, in that vein, I guess I'll talk about it in Clubhouse. Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. It's just a fun title, fun movie.
It's a fun title.
I think we actually paid the $20 to watch it. So
damn.
I'm not necessarily saying go out and do that, but I did enjoy that as a newer movie. I think technically a 2021 movie. So we can talk more about these movies in the Clubhouse. I do like keeping these streams under an hour for you guys. So let's dive into the trivia. We talked about DC. We talked about, actually, we didn't really talk about Batman. Happens to be part of the Justice League. He's the rich guy that forms the team and has a lot of cool tools. The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I quizzed Michael 2 weeks ago on MCU trivia, but I told him I feel close enough of an expert on the Dark Knight. I'm ready to be put through the gauntlet on this. I hope you came up with 9 questions, because that's become the theme, is how many out of 9 can you get? But I'm willing to answer as many as you've got for me. So I'll let you kind of take over here, and I'll do the buzzer on myself if you want me to. But
if you get it wrong, you're gonna have to use the buzzer.
Okay. Only if I get it wrong though.
Well, yeah, of course. So I also love The Dark Knight. I've been in a really big Batman mood recently. I just watched Gotham, which you should watch. It is very spiritually prequel-y to The Dark Knight. So not literally, but you get a lot of the same vibes from it. It's very good. I highly recommend it. So I have 12 questions. Half of them are trivia, half of them are quotes. So I'm going to make you do all 12 because I forgot that 9.
All good. I'll answer all of them.
All right. So I'm going to start easy and get harder is what it looks like. Yes.
Generally the plan. The plan.
All right. So question number 1. What is the name of the man who creates the majority of Batman's tech?
Lucius Fox.
Correct. Oh yeah, that one. I forgot.
I'm gonna do it when I get it right too. Right. I don't even know how loud it is.
It's loud enough. I think it's better we don't
right in your headphones.
All right. So you're 1 for 1. So this stretches a little bit beyond just The Dark Knight, but only one villain appears in each of the 3 movies in the Dark Knight trilogy. Who is it?
Oh my God. So I'm allowed to talk this out, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
obviously it's not Bane, and it's not the Joker, because we're not counting the card at the end of Batman Begins.
Correct.
And you're counting flashbacks in The Dark Knight Rises.
It doesn't need flashbacks.
Okay. God. Well, maybe I should go with my gut then, because my initial thought was Scarecrow, and I don't remember when he would show up in the third one, because he gets arrested in The Dark Knight in the opening scene with Batman. my other thought would be Ra's al Ghul, but as I'm thinking through it, I don't think he shows up in The Dark Knight at all. So I'm going to say Scarecrow, final answer.
Correct. He appears in the third one when he's making the people walk across the water, like the iced out river. Like the people that are getting punished or whatever, and then that's when Batman re-enters Gotham. So
interesting.
For some reason,
I told you I have not watched The Dark Knight Rises in a long time.
Hey, but you got it. You
recently rewatched the first two, so need to finish off the trilogy soon.
Is it because the third one wasn't on Netflix? Because that's why I didn't rewatch.
No, I actually own all three on DVD.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we started the first two and then got through Dark Knight and was like, well, I don't want to watch another like 3-hour Batman movie now, but soon enough, we'll get there.
All right. So we're going to get a little bit harder. Number 3, what is Harvey Dent's campaign slogan? It's 5 words.
Oh, I appreciate the hint. It's I believe in Harvey Dent.
Yes. Correct. That was good. I was curious if I would get you.
Well, I mean, there's the scene. I mean, I shouldn't talk about every answer, but Christian Bale, he's at his own charity and he's like, "What is this campaign slogan? I believe in Harvey Dent."
He makes fun of it. Yep.
And then I got thinking.
All right. So
that
wasn't. I didn't mean that to come off how it did.
No, I heard that and I thought you were like, "Ah, shit, I'm not going to stump this guy."
No. This one, I will be very intrigued to see if you get this one. It will impress me. The next 3, I think, are more difficult.
Okay.
The Batmobile has a name that Lucius Fox calls it, the more technical term used at Wayne Industries. What is that name?
It's the Tumbler. Final answer.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's
All right.
go.
Okay. All right. I got 2 more questions before we get to quotes. What 90s rom-com does Joker quote in the famous interrogation scene? What is the quote and what movie is it from? That was a weird way for me to ask that, but...
Oh my God. So we're talking about, this is Dark Knight quotes.
Yes. Well, yeah, it basically, in the interrogation scene...
Oh my God.
The Joker quotes a 90s rom-com. What does he say and what movie is that quote from?
This is a good question.
I was happy with this one.
Because he said it has to be "you complete me," so that is the quote. And you said the other part of the question is just what movie it's from or what rom-com it's from.
It's a 90s rom-com that he's referencing.
A rom-com, interesting. Because I was gonna say The Notebook, but that's not a rom-com, so I don't. Oh my God.
See, I wanted to test your movie knowledge a little bit, Mr.
So
Unreal
as many movies that I feel like I'm very knowledgeable on, there are so many movies I haven't seen that where it is offensive to cinema that I haven't seen them. So
it's fair.
I gotta kind of freshen my game up on other movies. Oh my God. I don't think this is 90s, but I thought, say anything a rom-com? Like, say anything would be my answer. Because that is stuck in my head from recently. But otherwise, I don't know. That's the...
Well, you get 50%. It's Jerry Maguire.
Ah!
Yep.
Oh, see, you know why that messed me up is because Jerry Maguire is not a rom-com. It's a sports movie.
It's a rom-com. Oh, I mean...
The sad trombones for me, but hey, good trivia. I like that one.
This one is, I don't even know how, to be honest, I don't know how often they say this person's name, but after Batman takes down Carmine Falcone's mob in Batman Begins, who takes over in The Dark Knight and teams up with Joker? What is that character's name?
Salvatore Maroni.
Yep.
Let me get the rap air horn going.
All right, so you got 5.5 out of 5. No, 5.5 out of 6.
I love 5.5 out of 5.
No. Not over 100%. Now you should get these quotes. Some might be a little harder than others, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna start off easy. So I'm gonna start a quote, and I'm just gonna ask you to finish it and tell me who said it. I believe
so I have to finish it and say who said it.
Yes, you finish the quote and then you tell me who said the quote.
Are you telling me who's saying your line then?
No, I'm starting the quote.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't
Go ahead.
try
No,
and
go
get
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. I believe that wasn't. Yeah. I believe that what doesn't kill you makes you one word.
Stranger.
And yeah, you know who said that.
Joker said that.
Yes. All right. You got that. You can give yourself your little air horn or whatever. Alrighty. So this is a call and response. You're answering. You're basically saying the majority of the quote for the second person.
Okay, yeah.
So person number one says, "What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?" Second person says, "I'm blank."
Oh, you didn't even have to say the first part. I'm not wearing hockey pads. It's Batman.
Yep. So fun fact, up until, well, forever, my one friend is convinced that he's saying hockey pants.
Oh, come on.
My friend's a moron.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Stronger Kelly Glass. Okay. Madness, as you know, is a lot like
Gravity. All it takes is a little push, followed by maniacal laughter by the Joker.
yes. All right. So those were definitely the easier ones. I was hoping you'd get those. I think these get a little, not even tougher, just like a little longer. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, the longer they get, the harder it is to get it.
I mean, I'm
right.
not going to nitpick, but the night is darkest just before the dawn. And
oh my God. So I believe that is said twice in the movie.
Is it? If you're right,
this dead air is just amazing, guys. This dead air is amazing because Batman says it as he's like talking to Commissioner Gordon about like dead Harvey Dent, and then when Commissioner Gordon's talking to his kid, I believe he says it again. So I'm trying to figure out like.
I will happily say that you were wrong on both accounts.
Oh my God! Oh wait,
neither of
those.
So
the Harvey Dent. So the Harvey Dent must have said this then.
Yeah, I kind of gave you that.
Okay, so Harvey Dent said this: the night is darkest before the dawn, and the dawn is coming. That would be my final answer.
I'll give you half credit, and I promise you the dawn is coming.
And I promise you the dawn is coming. Interesting. Yeah. So is he's saying that in a speech?
I think so. I honestly don't remember.
I'll have to look up the last scene to see if they say that night is darkest before the dawn again, because I think they do. But
I'm fairly sure he does not.
Well, I'll give myself a sad trombone for that because
he says it in the speech.
That was hard.
He says it in the speech where they were going to that. I believe when Batman was going to like reveal himself. But then Harvey says
and Batman. I promise you the dawn is coming. And then
I'm
sure someone interrupts him. No more dead cops.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the start of the quote. You see, I'm a guy of simple taste. I enjoy blank and blank and blank.
I enjoy knives and dynamite and gasoline.
You were really close.
Fuck!
Dynamite and gunpowder and gasoline.
Oh,
you were really close.
Fuck. That I knew exactly what.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so last one. This one, we'll see. You should get this. I think it's longer because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. So,
of course,
I normally wouldn't ask for one this long, but this one is just very iconic.
Yeah. So this is the Gordon speech at the end.
Just Gordon.
Can you say it again just so I can try to follow up after?
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. So
we chase him because we need to chase him. Something like he's the hero that Gotham needs, Or you just said that. Did you say that part? The hero that Gotham needs,
because
not the
he's
one
the
it
hero
deserves?
he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not
Not the one it needs right now. So I think they say so. We chase him because we have to, and then it's something. A watchful protector, a Dark Knight, and that's how the movie ends. But I know I'm missing like a big chunk in there.
So we'll hunt him because he can
Or,
take it. Because he's not our hero. He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a Dark Knight.
I will do the sad trombone, but not for that awesome quote at the end of that movie.
Yeah, that's bonus point. Who's he talking to?
Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah.
Well, he's both talking to his son, but also he's doing a speech about Harvey Dent at the same time in that montage, I think. Maybe I've got that messed up too.
You've got that. No, because Harvey Dent is the hero. He's not the one we deserve, but it's the one we need. He's talking to his
kid. Yeah.
Because why is he running? And he said, because we'll chase him. So that's where the chasing thing comes in. Why is he running? Because we'll chase him or because we need him to or something. But he didn't do anything wrong. That's because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one he needs right now. So.
Okay.
Overall,
well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for doing that long one. But once you're on the hot seat, it makes it a lot harder to get it word for word.
It's tough. But that was a very iconic one.
Well, I appreciate you putting me through the ringer. What was my final score though?
So you got 5.5 out of 6 for the first half, and then you got 1, 2, 3. Not that one. 3.5. I'll give you like 4. I'll give you like 4 out of 6. I gave you some half credit, so 4 out of 6 plus 5.5. That's 9.5 out of 12.
Oh, perfect. So I've done better than anyone else on the show so far.
9, yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we can round it down. 9 out of 12. I'm fine with that.
All righty. 9 out of 12 it is.
Because half points. I mean, what are we doing here? That's the show, guys. That's the show. We're gonna jump into Clubhouse for anyone that's on iOS. I'll set that up promptly. I don't know if you can make it, Michael, but we will, chill accordingly. So. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, you can follow us at Andrew Mackens and at MP Duncan 75. This has been Mack of All Trades on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you in Clubhouse.